Hello, welcome to our live stream. I've got a quiz for you today, 10 questions about animals in Tanzania. So this is going to be about animal behavior and also the groupings of animals, and a fun little quiz about animals that I got to see while I was on safari. So I like to travel and to be able to take you with me somehow. If you don't already follow my account, English with Jen 123, I will offer you a full lesson tomorrow. So if you would like to improve your English practice, be able to use it, I highly recommend you following. It's a great way to be able to do that. And with a very nice community, I must say. We're very blessed. So I hope everyone is well. Hello, Serena, sweetie. Take two. We have second half of our lesson and you've decided to join. That's wonderful. We have another 5 people who have joined as well. I'm going to pull up my notes because, yeah, I always have extra stuff to share with you. And like always, with my quizzes, with everything I do, hey, Gracie, sweetie. Hey, Karina, darling. I love it when you have things that you can also share with me. This is not just about me. If you have things to share, go ahead and share it. Let's all learn together. So, Safari quiz. This is a really cool one that I learned this time. Hi, Yuki, sweetie. I'm happy you're still up. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Margarita, dear. Welcome. I'm going to hop over to here. Ta-da. And yeah, let's take a look. We have our first question. Question number 1. How can you tell when a lion is ready to get up and start hunting? So imagine that the lion during the day, like we said, lions sleep pretty much during the day. They don't move a lot. It's too hot for them. They prefer to hunt in the evening time because that way they can stay cool. They see very well at night and they're able to hunt better. Their prey doesn't see them. So yeah, what can you tell me? So does it it yawns and stretches? So actually, I'm really yawning now. Sorry. Did anybody else yawn? They say it's contagious. Okay, so it yawns and it stretches. It rolls on its back. C, it roars loudly to signal the hunt. Yeah, not C if it's smart, right? Exactly. D, it starts chasing other animals immediately. It just gets up and it goes. They are prey and their prey are tired. Yes, maybe during the day, during the evening. Okay, so Margarita's got a C for me. Karina's got a C for me. It roars loudly and then it starts to hunt. Any other guesses? So Serena, if you're saying not C, if it's smart, what are you saying? Yuki saying A, question mark? And Yuki, you are correct. So this is the craziest thing because he stalks. Yes, he stalks after he yawns and stretches. Then he gets up and starts to sort of look around, check with the other cats, see what's going on, sort of kind of have a little radar to see what is going on in the animal kingdom. Who looks tasty? Who looks sick or something? I don't know. I'm not sure what their preference is. Really crazy. So every single time you see you see them sleep, you see them yawn, you see them stretch like this, and then they get up and they're ready to start their evening. They are just bigger cats. Exactly, Yuki, super description. Okay, so let's move on to number 2. And I almost told you the answer. Hey, Juan Carlos, dear. Okay, so, and you're perfect timing. We're on question number 2. We just learned that lions, when they're sleeping, when they're ready to start hunting, they yawn and they stretch, just so you're up to date with info. So number 2, which animal forms a cackle? So cackle when in a group. A, zebras, B, meerkats, C, monkeys, and D, hyenas. So in the animal world, when you go on safari, and this dates back to like very, very long ago. I think it was 16 something or 14, like really, really long ago. There was a book that hunters in England, I guess it wasn't England back then, but anyway, there were hunters and they formed a book. They put together a book where they had different groupings of animals. And so a lot of these are really funny. So, all right. So hyenas, these are these ugly looking guys, just so everyone's on the same page. Let me pull up a hyena just so that hyena. All right. This is the animal we're talking about. This is a scavenger, a word we learned last time. Here are a couple of pictures. Yes, this guy looks grumpy here. So you can sort of see here this is what a hyena looks like. It's a very, very strange looking animal with a sloped neck and sort of like this kind of goes down like this. And yeah, they're kind of strange looking. Anyway, so just to keep everybody on track. So everyone is saying D, and let me pull this up. So exactly. So an animal, you can have one hyena. The second that they become a group, we talk about a cackle of hyenas. And the word cackle is very interesting because it's like an ugly laugh, kind of like a witch makes a cackle. Like, ah, like this kind of laugh is a cackle. And so they are kind of disgusting looking and kind of like creepy and whatever. And so they have this sort of and they make these strange sounds. So when you have a grouping of hyenas together, they are called a cackle of hyenas. Do I have anything else that I want to add? No, but you can use this for humans as well. Oh, she has the worst cackle, like meaning her laugh is like, it's very kind of scary sounding. It's not a pretty laugh. All right, moving on to something I absolutely love, and we will talk about more tomorrow because these are very sweet creatures, or very interesting. Let's say, I have no idea if they're sweet, but let's see. All right, moving on to number 3, and here we go. And I don't know if I have a picture here for us or not. Oops, sorry. Let me add number 3 and share image, excuse me. Number 3, and I don't. I'm going to pull up. Actually, we're going to talk a lot about them tomorrow, so we'll wait. So why do weaver birds? So weaver birds, they weave. Like you can have a basket. This chair right here is woven. You have a basket and it goes like this. Maybe it's like this in between, like this. This is weaving. And there are birds that make nests that are woven, all right? Really, and they're all different kinds of weaver birds. They make really big nests that are woven together, very small ones, really intricate, lots and lots of detail, very complex structures that they create. And so let's see. Why do weaver birds build their nest hanging over water? Is it A, to stay cool in hot weather, B, to avoid predators, especially snakes, C, to get closer to drinking water, or D, to show off to other birds? So what do you think? Why do they build nest over water? So Yuki says B, Alessio says D, so to avoid predators, especially snakes. Serena's going with B, D from Alessio, to show off to other birds. Very, very logical answer. 90% of what the animal kingdom does is to try to mate with the other, with the opposite sex. So yeah, good guess, definitely good guess. We'll talk more about that tomorrow with the weaver birds, but it's B, because they build their nest on little tiny twigs. A vocab word we will have tomorrow, twigs. And not really tiny, but thin branches are, what am I doing? Twigs. And hey, Mohammed. So yeah, so B or C. The answer was B. So they don't build them on really sturdy, big branches. They build them on something that's like, I don't know, like this thick, so that it's kind of flexible. And so because the snakes will come onto there, and if the snake goes on this thin branch, it will break and it will fall into the water. And the weaver birds, I guess, can get out pretty easily. I guess that's the idea. And so, yes, that's why they do that, for protection. All right, moving on to another grouping, and this one's kind of cute. A grouping of animals. We have one of these and we have multiple of these. So we're talking about the multiple. What is this sort of the lingo that people use when you're on safari to talk about a grouping, this animal? All right. So here we go. Doop. Maybe. Aha, there we go. Which animal forms a parliament when in a group? Okay, so you can have one of these, but when there's a grouping of these, it becomes a parliament of elephants. And maybe you can think about if maybe you know some of the groupings in your head. Sounds like a Home Alone trick. It does. Yuki, that's so precious. That's very true. The weaver birds are very clever. B, zebras, C, lions, and D, owls. Which one do you think, when they're together, when they're on their own, they're either a lion, an owl, a zebra, an elephant, but when they're together, they're a So, okay. And if you know the groupings, if we say one elephant and then we have a lot of elephants, then what is that called? What about with zebra? What about with lion? Lion we just learned. So, all right. Let's use saying C. So we have A's and C's. Muhammad is going with A as well. All right. The answer is actually owls, which I think of Parliament. I think of like the British court system with the men with the wigs and with the robes, and they're all, trying to be, serious and, banging on, it's the court, the people of the court. And owls have this quality, this wisdom, this like they know everything, they're very well versed and stuff. And so for me, I think it's so funny that the answer is really a parliament of owls, these little wise creatures. So a lot of times these animals took, like little politicians, exactly, right? They're wise and they know everything. They can tell you the law on this, don't mess with them. So I think it's so precious to think of these owls with little wigs on and little robes. And a lot of these are very clever like this, where they took sort of the characteristics of the animals and then created groupings for them. I think whoever who did all of these was very funny, had a good sense of humor. And just to put everybody on track, a parliament of lawyers, maybe, yeah. So with elephants, we say a herd of elephants, a herd of zebras, a pride of lions, And D, we say a parliament of owls. So I thought that was precious. Moving on to elephants. Speaking of elephants. All right, let's see. Number 5. Okay, so maybe this is going to work. It's taking a long time today. All right. So how do elephants communicate over long distances? Okay. A, by flapping their ears. So when you do this movement, like the elephants do, this is flapping. Also, birds flap their wings, right? So this movement doesn't matter if it's like this. Well, I don't know how they do it, like that or this, it's flapping. Or B, by waving their trunks. Hello, I'm over here. C, using low frequency sounds called infrasounds. Or D, by stomping repeatedly. What do you think? All right, how do they communicate over long distances? What can you tell me? A, B, C, or D. So Karina's going with C, using low frequency sounds called infrasounds. And maybe that's smart because I couldn't pronounce it, so I wouldn't have used it. Alicia's going with C, Sarita's going with D. Any other guesses? Otherwise, I will go ahead and tell you. Margarita's got a C for me. So for all of you folks who guessed C, yes, absolutely, that's correct. So elephants use low frequency sounds called infrasounds to communicate over long distance, sometimes over 10 kilometers or 6 miles, whatever you do. So Yuki, the answer was C. So they can communicate with these infrasounds, 10 kilometers, up to 10 kilometers, up to 6 miles. These sounds are below the range of hearing, so we cannot hear them. And it seems like many other animals cannot hear as well. So they would use these sounds to warn each other of a predator, of a human, I guess we're also predator, or different things like that to communicate with them. So I found that really fascinating. This is how it works. Elephants produce sounds using their vocal cords and their trunks, sometimes combined with the vibrations in their chest or in their mouth. Infrasounds travel farther than normal sounds, especially in the open plains. And I've used this word several times. The landscape that we were, that is part of the Great Migration is plains. That's when you have this open area for long, long distances with not many trees. Those are called plains. I'll put that there. Not plain as in boring, but plains as in this area, this big open space. All right, and the purpose, so herds use them to stay together for long distances, mating, so males can signal readiness or to find the location of females. Alarm, they warn about dangers like humans and predators, like I said. And other animals, they can't hear this, so they're safe. I think that's kind of a cool thing. I'm curious actually what it sounds like. I would look right now on YouTube and try to see if I could find a video that could amplify it. But yeah, it is a lot of technology. But the last time I shared a video, my live stream got canceled. So I'm not doing that anymore. Maybe if somebody finds one, you can send it to me and let me know, because I'm curious what it sounds like. Maybe there's something that sometimes scientists must have figured out that they do this, and they must have some sort of way of being able to listen. All right, so moving on to number 6, and stubbornness. Okay, we're talking about a grouping of animals. And maybe for those of you who know that word, how would you define the word stubbornness? How can we define the word stubbornness other than Jennifer? I'm very stubborn. So yeah, please don't say that. Peter would say Jennifer, so I'll say it for him. So which animal forms a stubbornness when in a group? Is it A, hippos, B, giraffes, C, buffalo, or D, wildebeest? So what can you tell me? What can you tell me? A, B, C, and D. And if you don't know what the word stubbornness is, I can explain it to you. It's like when you don't give up, you're kind of like, I want this is going to happen. And, you know, I think it's kind of a positive thing, but it's actually people use it more in a negative way. Let's get a bot definition, a robot answer here. What does stubbornness mean? Okay, so Serena's saying hippos. Natalia's got C, buffalo. Any other guesses? Yeah, so it's kind of one of these words that's both positive and negative, right? Refusing to listen, no compromising, no adapting. Ding, ding, ding. And in the positive sense, you show determination and you don't give up. So I'm going with a positive version of stubbornness. So A, hippos. So, okay, I have 2 A's, so a C and several, a buffalo and a hippo. Okay, so everybody's guessing everything except for wildebeest. They seem like stubborn animals. Absolutely correct. Exactly. So it is absolutely buffalo. Ding, ding, ding. They are considered as a group a stubbornness of buffalo. I think that's kind of fun. The African buffalo are very tough and unpredictable, so they are called a stubbornness in order to protect themselves. Absolutely. And we did a walking safari, and which is crazy, but we did it. And you have a guide that goes with you. You have your guide and a ranger, and then you have some sort of security behind you. That's more because they try to protect for poaching than to protect us. But you get what you get. It's the safari. So in one day you're in an area where the day before you saw lions, and they're gone now. They've gone off to another place. But you're like, oh my gosh, we are on foot in this area where there were lions. My mom is stubborn and she is a Taurus. Okay, exactly. And so when we were on walking safari, then we came across by accident 3 bulls. And these guys, these old bulls, they kind of are together, not really. A lot of male species of animals live on their own. Elephants do that, lions sometimes, a lot of times actually, and buffalo as well. And you don't want them to see you. And these buffaloes saw us because they will charge after you, and they are very fast. So we ran into one and backed up. Our guide told us, whatever I do on the walking safari, you do too. So if I walk fast, you walk fast. If I walk slow, you walk slow. And so he just was kind of carefully walking. And then we went to this other area where there were bushes, and we saw another one. And this guy was much closer than the one that we had seen in the distance. And he was, ready to charge. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then we came across another one. We could not escape the buffalo. It was very scary. So yes, a stubbornness. Moving on. Another moment. All right, let's see. Let's remove this one and move on to number 7. And we are going to talk about zebra, a grouping of zebra. This is kind of cool too. Number 7. What is a Taurus? More dangerous. Yes, they are more dangerous than lions. So hippos and buffalo kill more humans every year than lions do. So that puts that into perspective. Buffalo look like a toro, and the toro is crazy. Here, I will show you a picture. I think then you will know. They have these big horns here, really pretty. They have beautiful ears. I noticed that the ears, almost like the patterns on the tips of the ear, they almost look like a butterfly, this beautiful sort of patterning. But they're kind of aggressive looking. They look grumpy. They look stubborn. But Yuki, I'll get you a picture. Let me see. Let me find a good one. Okay, I think this is good. So maybe everything's very slow. I'm so sorry. So this is a buffalo. So it kind of looks like a bull, but it's maybe a wild bull. I don't really know. I'm not very sure. I'm not quite sure about that. But his ears are pretty. So I'm giving him a 10 for his ears. And a 10 actually that he didn't charge us and kill us. So that was kind of nice of him. All right, so let's see, zebras, we're on to zebras. Excuse me. So why do zebras form a dazzle when they move in a group? Is it A, to look bigger to predators? So one zebra, a group of zebras is called a dazzle. A bull, exactly. Buffalo, Taurus. Taurus is the astrological sign. That's what I know it as. I will look it up in a minute, Yuki, for you. B, to confuse predators with their stripes. C, to find each other more easily. And D, to signal mating readiness. So as a group, why are they called dazzle? A dazzle of zebra. What do you think? And Yuki, while everyone's answering, I will look up exactly what a Taurus is. I only know it really in connection with a car and with astrological sign. Otherwise, A, B, C, or D. So Taurus, let's see, is it a bull? Because it's now giving me all the astrological sign stuff. All right, so B, okay, from Yuki, to confuse predators with their stripes. Yes, the symbol for Taurus is the bull. So it is some sort of bull, but maybe in other languages it's called Taurus or Taro. bull? I'm not sure. Gracie's going with B. Any other guesses? Let's see. Serena's going with B. Okay, so all of my ladies here who have answered B, you're absolutely correct. It's to confuse the predator. So imagine you see all of these zebras, and like they're like, I don't know. This, because I think, if I remember this correctly, I think that lions only see in black and white. I don't know. One, I can't remember. Ooh. And there was a color they couldn't see. They can't see red. Okay, can lions see in color? Let's see if I'm telling you crazy things. So exactly. So it's to confuse predators with their stripes. They see them and their brain can't really register where does the animal start, where does the animal stop. So it's a way of protecting themselves. Yes, lions can see in color, so I am not correct. But they struggle to see the difference between red and green. Okay. So half correct. All right. And if anybody knows anything else about zebras, you're more than welcome to let me know. All right. Otherwise, we're heading on to our next question, to number. Wait, hold on. I wanted to add to this. It was really interesting to see that the wildebeest and the zebra often travel together. They have this really great relationship because zebras have excellent eyesight and they can spot predators and lions from far away. And wildebeest have a great sense of hearing. So they help each other out. And it's kind of, again, this safety in numbers situation. If there are tons of you, then it's more difficult to, I guess, get eaten. So let's see if I have anything else. By staying together, they watch out for dangers. They travel in large mixed herds. And I wanted to show you this other crazy animal I had never seen. It looks so prehistoric. Eland book. So it's a type of antelope. And you need to see it in perspective. Okay, this is not nice as somebody who killed it. But this is just insane. Hold on, I can hit this. This is on Instagram. So this guy also travels with them. He's like, his head is tiny in comparison to the rest of his body. And he's usually in a herd as well. This was the first time that we had ever seen this antelope called an eland, E-L-A-N-D. And thank you very much for Easy Vinyls for letting me share with that. Anyway, yeah, so they travel as well. You have a zebra, you have the eland, you have another type of a gazelle called a Thompson, and the wildebeest, and they kind of travel together so that they stay protected. All right, moving on to our question number 8. So when I would go walking on a walking safari tour, I had better wear black baby, and make everybody else wear that as well. You all have to have matching black and white striped outfits. It's gonna look crazy, but you know what? You'll be safe. So yeah, no, they will smell you way faster than they will see you. They have such incredible survival skills. All right, thank you, Yuki, for sharing your little joke. So let's see, we have another group of animals, and this is called a wake. Okay, so which animal forms a wake when in a group? Is it A, lions, B, vultures, C, hyenas, or D, crocodiles? A wake. Okay, and this is also a homophone. Or actually, I'm not sure exactly what that is, but wake spelled the same way, 2 different meanings. A word with 2 different meanings. Maybe not, yes. So A, lions, B's, vultures, C, hyenas, and D, crocodiles. They form a wake. And if you don't know what these animals are, you can let me know. I will find a photo and probably go into YouTube jail. But let's see. Better that everybody understand where we at. What do you think? A, B, C, or D? One of these is whatever, lion, vulture, hyena, crocodile, and a group of them is a wake of, what do you think? I think my comments have frozen for a bit. I don't know. Okay, Yuki's going with B, with vultures, and Gracie's going with vultures. All right, and that is correct. It's a wake of vultures, and it's not wake like being awake, like ooh, you woke up. It's awake like when someone dies, because vultures are scavengers and they wait for things to be killed, and then they go in and they clean it all up. And so they're a scavenger. So it's called a wake, because when you see these guys, you know that something has died. In fact, when you're on safari, you look in the sky, and if you see vultures flying around, you know that probably there is a kill somewhere close by. It's one of the telltale signs that something has been killed, because they're just waiting their turn to be able to participate in the feeding process. And I wanted to just kind of throw this out here really quickly, because in English we have a wake for when someone dies, we have a public viewing, and we have a funeral. And I wanted to go through these really quickly because I think it's an interesting point. And in Germany, a lot of people, when they go to watch a soccer event, so like when the World Cup happens, they will say, let's go to a public viewing. But this is not correct English. This is sort of Danglish, because in English, a public viewing is like this formal event where the body of a deceased person is displayed for people to see. Vultures are like, they're like hyenas. Well, vultures are birds, but they are scavengers like hyenas, yes. So in English, if you go and watch the World Cup in a big open space with a big screen, it is not a public viewing. We call this a public screening or a fan event, or let's go watch soccer on the big screen. But it's not a public viewing. Public viewing is really for when somebody passes away and you go to view the body, to see the body. And a wake is a visual, can sometimes be with the body, often for the family before the funeral. And funeral is what we've had before when we talked about death, is a formal ceremony honoring the deceased, before often with a burial or a cremation. But I think that's kind of funny to call vultures a wake of vultures, because that's exactly what it is. They're going to check out that dead animal. All right, moving on to number 9. So we're talking about big cats. All right, so big cats. And maybe we are. You're welcome. You're welcome. So let's see. Which African big cat marks its territory by scratching its claws and leaving scent marks? Is it A, a lion, B, a cheetah, C, a leopard, or D, a serval? And a serval cat we'll talk about tomorrow, so I won't talk about that today. And it's not really such a big cat, but it's a cat. So it's not that. I'm giving you half the answer. It's either A, B, or C. Which one of these cats mark their territory? Yeah. And I'm not sure if we're going to talk about this tomorrow or not, but I found this very interesting. So Natalia's going with B, a cheetah. Okay. Any other guesses? Lion, cheetah, or leopard? What can you tell me? Everybody's going with B, with a cheetah. Okay. So interesting. So the cheetah is not the correct answer. It's actually a leopard. A leopard does this. They scratch the tree, they leave a scent. And so, yes, so it's leopard, exactly, a leopard. C. Many animals, including cats like leopards, have scent glands. So you'll see animals, you see even house cats, they like rub up against you and we feel like, oh, we're so special. Actually, they're just marking you as their territory. You belong to me, human. So they're making sure that no, any other cat that comes around knows you are theirs. And so they have scent glands on their faces and on their paws and on their tail. And they use these glands to leave a chemical signal, marking their territory and communicating to other areas. This is my terrain. And so, yeah. And leopards are excellent climbers. They often drag their prey into trees to avoid scavengers. And they mark their territory. That was that. And they're very secretive and very rarely seen in the open. They're extremely beautiful. I think from all of the cats, I find leopards the most beautiful. My cat marks territory, scratching everything. Miss, I'm not sure what that says. I think a little typo, sweetie, are leopards. Okay. So let's move on to our last grouping of animals for the day. And we are going to talk about one baboon and a group of baboons, what they might be called. So let's see. Our last one for today, for all of you who've hung in there now for, for 2 hours, over 2 hours. I appreciate it. It's nice having everyone on board that can make it. Okay, so let's see. What is the collective noun for a group of baboons? Is it A, a troop, B, a pride, C, a pack, or D, congress, a congress? So what do we think? A troop, a pride, a pack, a congress. Baboons. And if you don't know what a baboon is, let me pull him up real quick so you can take a look at what he looks like. All right. So baboons are these guys with a long sort of face. They're very, very, a good one. I think that's good. This is a baboon. The guy's a baboon. All right, so let's see. Natalia's going with D. Alessio's got A. We have a troop. We have Congress. What do we think? Any other guesses? Otherwise, I will just give you the answer. One of you is correct. So one of you is correct. That's for sure. A. Okay, Serena's going on team A. Kind of a monkey. Yes, it's a monkey. Okay, here I can show you other photos. They have red butts. Let me see if I can find. Oh, well, that's really gross. Hold on. They're very funny. They're very aggressive. They try to break into cars and stuff, so you have to be really careful. Honestly, I Googled this. It's fine, Serena, no stress. It's fine to cheat. Cheating is also somehow learning, right? At least in this case. So, all right. So, Serena, darling, would you like to tell us the answer since you know? A, a troop, B, a pride, or C, a pack, D, a congress. What can you tell me? What is a collective noun for a group of baboons? It is D. I'm a little tired. No stress. It's a congress. So the term congress is used because baboons live in large, socially organized groups where members interact, make decisions, and maintain a complex hierarchy, similar to a human congress where people gather and govern. So we have a parliament of owls. We have a congress of baboons, a dazzle of zebra. What else do we have? We had a wake of vultures, stubbornness of buffalo, and let's see, we had parliament of owls, and a cackle of hyenas. Cackle, remember, was sort of the strong. Oh, really? Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Let me double check this really quickly. Maybe I have the wrong info here. What's a group of baboons? Let's clarify this now. You did some good guesses. All right. I'm glad you made some good guesses. What's a good group of baboons called? And let's see. Hopefully that it's a congress, or I'm going to feel really silly. Up. It's saying actually a troop. Serena, is that what you heard as well? I don't know where I got that. I'm sorry. But okay, hold on. Occasionally you might also hear the term congress of baboons, but that's more humorous than scientific. So stick with troop. Troop, and I will spell it here for you. Troop. Troop. And I have Peter coming in now. So we are heading to dinner. We're going to a new restaurant tonight here in Cape Town. And the workers have left, so it's nice and quiet now. Anyway, I hope that you all have a lovely morning, evening, afternoon, whatever, wherever you are. It would be wonderful to have you all join tomorrow. We have the second half of this lesson. I will share with you more stories and adventures from my time in Tanzania. And yeah, it was really cool. So thank you for all of you joining, some of you for over 2 hours, and see you tomorrow, I hope. Take care, everyone, and bye.